Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news, and update show. And yes, the camera angle is a little bit different, so just let me know what the quality and everything is like right now. I do apologise if it's not the best, but I've had a lot of software issues today. Streaming software seems to be down, so I'm having to stream the video off my phone but the notes off my laptop. So I've got two things running at once. So I'm hoping the sound, audio, and everything is coming out okay. Please do let me know how everything is coming out, video, sound, picture-wise, quality-wise. Please do. I've never tried doing it this way. But yeah, Gaz has just put in the chat, Alice is using Ineos software. It looks like I'm using Ineos software right now. Yeah, so I hope that everything is coming out all good. I hope the sound, audio, picture is all good. I hope it's not laggy. Let me know. Oh, I feel like it might be lagging a little bit. But what are we going to talk about in today's show? Well, in today's show, we've got some news on Ollie Watkins, updates on him, Manchester United interest in Ollie Watkins. I like it for the right price. I like it for the right price. You get what I'm saying? Updates on a Marcus Rashford return, pretty much confirmed by Romano. Will Rashford be playing for Manchester United next season? That's another question, because Barcelona, Nico Williams, what is going on there? Updates in regards to Garnacho. Chelsea, tier 1 source Ollie Whitwell has confirmed Chelsea very much in for Garnacho. Chelsea signing Gittins doesn't stop them signing Alejandro Garnacho. And I think the fact that Chelsea spent 55 million on Gittins and Garnacho, as of last season, had a better season than Gittins because Gittins scored about 1 goal in about 6 months. Maybe Manchester United could use the fact that Chelsea spent 55 million on Gittins to try and get 60 million out of Chelsea for Alejandro Garnacho. Aston Villa also do have strong interest in Alejandro Garnacho. Someone says, why Ollie Watkins? What about Mateta? Mateta does not want to leave Crystal Palace, apparently, this window. We will talk about the possibility of a Garnacho Watkins swap. Now, it wouldn't be direct swap because of PSR, but we buy Watkins, they buy Garnacho. Again, I do apologise if the screen is flickering a little bit here. Updates on Ineos' new plan. Ethan Williams, some interest in him, and more. So, big up everybody for tuning into today's show. We're doing it a very different way to how I normally record and normally do shows, and I've just realised my phone doesn't have the best battery, so I'm hoping streaming the video off my phone doesn't ruin my battery, because that won't be fun. Although, actually, I could. Wait a sec, let me just try something here. Does that work? No, the audio was messed up there. Did you see the audio coming out so loud? Did not like that. That just echoed. We're gonna stick with this picture. So let's get into the Ollie Watkins news to begin with. So Laurie Whitwell is a very good and very credible source of information, and he has come out and said that Ollie Watkins, among centre forwards at Manchester, is considered. Wait, I can't read off the screen. It's so small. Everyone's saying the other one did not work. The other one was not as good. Ollie Watkins among centre forwards considered at Manchester United if Rasmus Højlund leaves. That's a big if Rasmus Højlund leaves. Although I say it's a big if, there's quite a lot of exit talks going on with Rasmus Højlund, so actually it isn't that big of an if. Full focus is on Brian Mbeumo and then outgoings, but work in the background on other targets in case of sales. Everyone's saying the picture's a lot better. The picture is probably a lot better because my webcam doesn't actually, my new laptop doesn't support my webcam, so I've actually used my laptop camera a little bit recently, so maybe that's why the picture's better on the phone. So that's come out. Ollie Watkins is among centre forwards being considered at Manchester United if Højlund leaves. We're going to talk about Højlund leaving. I spoke about it a little bit in my video earlier. Into the interest there. Yeah. We will talk about Watkins in a little bit more detail. I think people have mixed thoughts. Villa dropped Watkins for Rashford. Watkins did have some injury issues. I like Watkins for the right price. And that price is a big thing. I'm not spending 50, 60 million on Watkins, but £40 million deal, I'm open to it. Now, Laurie Whitwell, who also said there has been contact between executives and their Aston Villa counterparts to explore the prospect of a deal as United weigh up several striker options. So, it's even coming out and pretty much being confirmed. What's the picture? Oh, I don't like that. No, I don't like that. That's weird, isn't it? So there's even updates coming out in regards from Laurie Whitwell about us having some contact in regards with Laurie Whitwell, Aston Villa. There's obviously some conversations ongoing. People saying it's lagging a bit. Is it lagging a bit? I do apologise. Again, I need to sort out some OBS or something because my streaming software is doing me dirty at the moment. It's doing me dirty at the moment, my streaming software, isn't it? But obviously there was talk of Rashford going to Aston Villa, and there was talks actually, and Ollie Whitwell mentioned this, of potentially doing a swap deal involving Rashford and Watkins. That was discussed much earlier in the window. Now the reason that didn't happen is because Marcus Rashford's made it very clear about his interest in Barcelona and the fact he wants a Barcelona move. So Villa have very much moved on from Marcus Rashford. But it has come out by Romano that Aston Villa confirmed they're not activating the 40 million buy option clause for Marcus Rashford, and Rashford will return to Manchester United. 40 million is the price available, and many clubs are interested in Rashford. So we've also got updates coming out here in regards to Aston Villa. Oh, great. In regards to Aston Villa not buying Marcus Rashford. So we've had news coming out that Rashford is now back. Rashford is now a Manchester United player. Rashford is now back at Manchester United. That is confirmed. Will Rashford play again for Manchester United? Is the big question. We looked at doing a Rashford Watkins swap deal. Villa don't want Rashford because he's made it clear he wants Barcelona. We are interested in Ollie Watkins, but it depends on Rasmus Højlund. We'll talk about Rasmus Højlund later in today's show. But Romano and Villa and everybody has confirmed that Marcus Rashford is now back at Manchester United. He's now a Manchester United player. Villa did not activate the 40 million clause to buy Rashford, and that was largely reported due to Marcus Rashford's interest in Barcelona, seemingly putting Villa off. I want to discuss Garnacho a little bit in today's show and the latest on Garnacho in a second, because Chelsea are in touch with United to sign Garnacho despite signing Gittins, despite signing João Pedro. There's confirmation from Ollie Whitwell, who's a very good and very credible journalist in the Manchester United space, that Chelsea are still in touch in regards to Garnacho. Aston Villa have some interest in Garnacho. But let's talk about Watkins, and then we're going to talk about... after we talk about Watkins, we'll talk about Marcus Rashford, and then we'll talk about Alejandro Garnacho. But first of all, guys, let me know down below in the chat, in general, what are your thoughts in regards to Watkins? How do you feel about Watkins? What are your thoughts in regards to Watkins? Do you like the idea of the deal? It's so weird because I keep wanting to look here at my screen, but I need to look here at my camera, but then my screen and then my camera. So I tweeted and gave some of my thoughts in regards to Watkins to Manchester United. I said Ollie Watkins to Man United makes sense, but I put for the right price, and that bit for the right price is very, very important. You know, he's not my first choice, he's not my second choice, he's not my third, he's not my fourth, he's not particularly high up my list of strikers that I'd want Manchester United to sign. I'm not going to hide that. But I do think that Ollie Watkins is a good player. I do think that he'll improve us, and I do think for the right price, with the lack of strikers on the market, when we've got Rasmus Højlund who got about 4 goals last season, I don't think we're in a position to be turning our nose up at Ollie Watkins. I know a lot of Man United fans are turning their nose up at Ollie Watkins, but I don't think we're necessarily in the best position to do that. I mean, some people are saying Jamie Vardy. Well, Watkins is better than Vardy. Come on. He's better than Vardy. I could see Watkins link... Oh, I'm just scrolling through the chat. Alex B says I could see Watkins link being for a day or two and then goes completely quiet. Yeah. But the thing is, this Watkins thing has come from Ollie Whitwell, so you know that we're looking at him, but I don't think anything's going to happen anytime soon in regards to Watkins. Yeah, we're working on the Mbumo deal. Once we sign Mbumo, it's about getting some exits out the door, and then we could advance in regards to Watkins. But it will be Mbumo exits, striker signing, midfield signing. But it is Mbumo and exits right now. We're just bored. We're just waiting for that Mbumo. Here we go. We're just bored. But I did say in regards to Watkins and Manchester United, Ollie Watkins to United makes sense for the right price. I'm talking £40 million. You know, not long left on his deal. Nearly 30. Is he 29 or is he 30 now? Watkins age. I think he's 29 years of age. He's 29 years of age. Not long left on his deal. Villa might be ready to cash him while they can. He's a bit older, and he's not been doing as well as Villa at the back end of the season. When you look at Ekatike priced at 85 million, And I think Ekitike is a very good player, but he's had one good season at Frankfurt, and we know about Bundesliga attacks, and we know about Frankfurt's strike attacks, and we know about his liabilities and his struggles at PSG, and how young strikers are struggling at United. As much as like Ekitike, for 85 million, it's not worth the risk. If Arsenal pick up Gyökeres, then we won't get Gyökeres, and also Gyökeres favouring Arsenal and his wage demands and this whole situation with his agent is difficult. Now, look, if we can get Victor Gyökeres for a good price and he really wants Manchester United because Arsenal go for Sesko, I would go for Victor Gyökeres over Ollie Watkins. But Victor Gyökeres is another example there. But what I'm trying to say is the striker market's poor. We're not getting Victor Osimhen. His wage demands are ridiculous. Vlahovic's wage demands are ridiculous. People aren't convinced by people like Gonçalo Ramos. You've got Gyökeres, but he doesn't seem to want us. Sesko, he doesn't seem to want us. Ekitike is there. A lot of people want Ekitike, but 85 million is ridiculous. You've got Alexander Isak. We've got no chance of absolutely getting him. You've got Julian Alvarez. We've got no chance of getting him. The striker market right now is poor. We should have looked at Girassi last January when we had a chance. You actually look at that now and go, that would have been an opportunity. So with Watkins, it's one of those where I'm thinking the striker market is poor. If you can get him for a good deal, if you can get him for a good price, it's not a bad deal to do. Alex says that I like Watkins, just can't overpay with no resale value, plus Rasmus leaving far from certain. Completely agree. Mount says we're mid-table club miles behind. I'm assuming you're not a fan of that deal. Everything about Manchester United is stressful. I agree. What a drawn-out window we're having. Other teams are strengthening that are already strong, and we're struggling to buy 2 players so far. Says give thanks Toy. I don't know how to say your name there. I have mixed thoughts. First of all, the reason Chelsea and City had to move so quick is because of the Club World Cup, and they wanted players in before the Club World Cup at the beginning of the window. But also, Chelsea got João Pedro wrapped up in a day, and everyone's saying Chelsea got João Pedro wrapped up in a day. But Chelsea had been linked and shown interest in João Pedro for 2 months. Chelsea hadn't got that João Pedro deal wrapped up in a day. They liked João Pedro. They'd been negotiating it behind the scenes, but it hadn't been reportedly heavy for months. So had Newcastle. And once Chelsea got Gittins, they just went and did the final things to get João Pedro over the line. So I think, we are moving slow, but I also think people have got to remember that Chelsea have been working on Gittins and João Pedro longer than people think. Chelsea and Man City had the Club World Cup. Obviously, Liverpool winning the league and doing 3 amazing bits of business is frustrating. It's one of those where it's annoying. I'm bored of this window. It's taking too long. We are taking our time. It's not the best look. But I also know that we're taking our time on Bumo because they're asking for a ridiculous fee, and we want to make sure we can get them for a better fee. It's annoying how long it's taking. We should be getting this done and wrapped up quicker. But as long as we've got 3 signings for a pre-season tour, I'm happy with that. And 2 of those signings are set to be attackers, which is really important. Look, if we're sitting here in 2 weeks with no Mbumo, I'm going to be very annoyed. I'm going to be very peed off. Just get the deal done. Just pay up. It's dragging on for too long. I agree. It's stressful, but I do think with City and Chelsea, they did obviously have the Club World Cup, which is why they got some business done earlier. Although Chelsea just paid up 55 million for Gittins and 55 million for João Pedro. So if Chelsea aren't willing to give us over 50 million for Garnacho, then they're taking a mick. If João Pedro and Gittins are 55 million, I think when Chelsea go for Garnacho, we should ask for 70 million. We'll get 60, ask for 70. We finished 15th, not 5th. We need to start moving. I agree. We need to hurry up. We definitely need to hurry up. Watkins, would you trade Watkins for Garnacho? If they gave us Garnacho and some money, if they gave us Watkins and some money for Garnacho, maybe. But Garnacho was worth more than Watkins because of age in the market. How much would Watkins cost? There was a rumour of 40 million and another rumour of 50 million. If it's 40 million, I'd do it. If it's 50 million, I think you could look better off elsewhere because he's got no resale on value. But as I've said a few times, because of the lack of value in the market when it comes to the striker market right now, I don't think the striker market's great at the moment. I don't think there's many great options in the market. I do look at someone like Ollie Watkins and say, look, Premier League proven, we know what he can do. I'm not saying no to Ollie Watkins. Do you know what I mean? He's Premier League proven, he can score goals. He's ready-made now, he's experienced. Is he the best striker in the world? No. He's not the best striker in the world. Are there better options out there than Ollie Watkins? Yes, but if we're looking at the striker market, and if we don't get Ekitike and we don't get Gyökeres, where do we turn? If we can't get Ekitike and we can't get Gyökeres, where do we turn, people? And that's where you look at someone like Ollie Watkins and say, well, look, Manchester United's long-term plan would have never been signing Ollie Watkins. When Ineos came in the door and they told us about Manchester United's plan and what we want to do, it wouldn't involve Ollie Watkins. But when you look at it now, in a bit more detail, and you say, well, actually, this person's available on the market, this person's available on the market, and this person's available on the market, Ollie Watkins all of a sudden has become a more attractive option because of the lack of players available on the market. There is a lack of good strikers available on the market, and it is incredibly frustrating. I'm just trying to bear with me. Bear with me, people. My phone is so hot right now. I'm hoping the quality's alright. Vista would be good. A lot of people saying they don't want Watkins. A lot of people saying they don't want Watkins. I would like him for 40 million, but I wouldn't want to spend much more than 40 million on him. He doesn't guarantee 20 goals a season, but he guarantees more than 10, which is more than what our strikers are doing. The Shaw says Ollie Watkins just does not seem the right profile, but yeah, he is a striker that will score more than Højlund and Xerxes. Yeah. Is Ollie Watkins in my top 5 choices? No. Would I take him come end of the window if the striker market's bad and we need a striker? Yes, because he's Prem proven, you know what he can do. A lot of people saying absolutely no to Ollie Watkins, too old and expensive. This won't happen. A lot of people aren't the biggest fan of Watkins. I'm happy with Watkins because I just can't think of many good realistic options on the market. But as I said, only for the right price. How much do you think Watkins will go for? Surely around 40 million, but if Villa want 50, 60 million, then it's not worth it. I can't see us going for Goncalo Ramos unless it's a last minute panic loan offer. I can't see us going for him. Why is the striker market so bad? I just feel like there's a lack of good strikers in football that are available on the market. So any striker that's sort of mid-level that could be good is now going for way too much money, like Ekitike, for example. I saw this tweet from Darnish, which I thought was pretty accurate, and he said it's pretty clear whatever Ineos' policy was before coming in is getting scrapped for Prem-proven, ready-made, successful players now. Rather than buying the young talent and trying to develop them, United does that. I guess you just need to win as urgently as possible. And I think Darnish is right, and I saw this tweet from Darnish, and I think he really picked out and mentioned a few good points. When Ineos came in, it was about developing young talents, buying young players, developing them. I think Ineos have realised to develop young talents, you need an environment to develop young talents in. You need to find the right environment to find the talent to develop them in, and that's what you get. That's what you get in regards to Watkins and Mbeumo Cunha is proven now. We don't need to develop them, and I think they've realised United just need to win now. We need to get back on track now. If we get back on track, we can then go and get young players to develop. But this isn't the environment to develop players in. I think they've finally woken up to what we need, and I think Ineos have changed their policy a little bit. So yeah, Villa confirmed obviously no Rashford, and at the end of last season, Manchester United and Villa did discuss the possibility of Watkins being involved in a potential move for Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford's desire to join Barcelona put an end to that possibility. We know that Marcus Rashford is out in Spain. We know that Marcus Rashford is absolutely desperate to join Barcelona. So Marcus Rashford going anywhere other than Barcelona isn't looking like the strongest possibility right now at all. I think he wants Barcelona, and I think that's why Villa aren't going for him. So Marcus Rashford is back at Manchester United. He is now officially a Manchester United player. Will he stay at Manchester United is the big question. I'm not so sure, but we obviously got confirmation coming in from Fabrizio Romano that Aston Villa confirmed they're not activating the 40 million buy clause for Rashford, and Rashford now returns to United. Rashford is now a Manchester United player again. Will he play again for us? Will he move? Will he go to Barcelona? That's what we're going to discuss. I'm just having a quick look at the live chat, guys. Alice, is it true Mbeumo will stay if a deal can't be reached? The belief is a deal will be reached, so I won't worry about that just yet. People asking if I change the camera. It's my software isn't working, so I'm basically the tweets and the slides are on my laptop, and the camera is my phone that I've had to connect to StreamYard because I've had so many software issues. So it's technically not a new camera, but it technically is a change of cameras. Spending 40 million on 29-year-old is the kind of silly stuff we always do. I get what you mean. Okay, 40 million on a 29-year-old. It's a bit desperate, but right now, we all said, spending that money on Cavani, his wages, obviously he came in on a free. We talk about Cavani, we talk about Zlatan. Now, I'm not saying that Ollie Watkins is a Cavani Zlatan level striker, he's not. But some people didn't like that at the time. Some people didn't like that at the time because they were older, this and that. But actually, our best strikers that have come in are the Ronaldos, are the Cavani's, are the Zlatan Ibrahimovic's. And look, Watkins can't lace any of those players' boots. But what I'm saying is right now, would you rather spend 85 million on a young and proven player in Ekitike that struggled at PSG and had his first good season in a while? Or would you rather get Watkins for less than half the price of Ekitike and you've got a proven Premier League player? For me, Ekatike I would have over Watkins any day of the week. But actually, when you're looking at the price tag, if Manchester United have only got 40 million to spend on a striker, I would take Watkins because I think he's someone that could be our striker for the next 2 seasons until maybe 2027 when Højlund, potentially if he stays, gets better, Cheeto develops, when the striker market is better. I just don't think the striker market is very good right now. I don't think there's many good options in the striker market right now, which I think makes Watkins more appealing. A lot of people don't like him, and I get that. I think there's a lot better options out there than Watkins. But I'm looking at the striker market. I'm looking at Manchester United. I'm looking at young strikers now. They struggle at United, and how we need someone ready-made now. And I think Watkins ticks a lot of those boxes. I want to talk about Garnacho and Garnacho's exit. We've been talking a lot about Watkins. Right now, Watkins depends on Højlund. We're going to talk about Højlund, his potential exit. I think Watkins isn't a bad move, depending on the price. Garnacho is the guy that we need to get out. After signing Mbumo, the focus is going to be on sales. Every tier 1 source has said United's focus right now is selling Mbumo and working on some sales. Not selling Mbumo, buying Mbumo and working on some sales. Now, the big sale for Manchester United will be Garnacho because that will bring in a lot of money, pure profit. After signing Mbumo, the focus is getting players out, and Garnacho is one that they want to get rid of. Aston Villa have shown interest in Garnacho, and Chelsea have shown interest in Garnacho. They seem to be the two most interested. There's reports of Villa, Tottenham, and Arsenal having interest, but it seems to be Villa and Chelsea that seem most interested in Garnacho. Now, Laurie Whitwell is a tier 1 credible source of information, and he said that yes, Chelsea are in touch with Manchester United over a potential deal to sign Garnacho. Now, you might be asking, why is this big? Why is this huge? Because a lot of people's assumption, including mine, was, well, if they're getting Gittins, they're not going to go for Garnacho. Gittins is who they want. No, they want both Gittins and Garnacho. Chelsea signing Gittins isn't stopping them going for Garnacho, and now Chelsea are backing for Garnacho, and Chelsea do have the money, and Garnacho wants the move. So all of a sudden, there could be some big movement in regards to Garnacho and his future. But Chelsea are in touch with Manchester United over a potential deal to sign Garnacho. Chelsea like the player. This is massively one to watch. And I think he's a better signing for Chelsea than a lot of people are making out. A lot of people think this won't be the best signing. I'm just going to be back in 10 seconds. So, oh, sorry. I basically, it's so hot. It's so hot in the UK. I was like sticking to my chair. I had to stand up. I was just sticking to my chair there. But yes, Chelsea are in touch with Manchester United to sign Garnacho. So this has come out just now. This has come out today from a top source of information that Chelsea are well and truly in touch with Manchester United to sign Garnacho. So Chelsea are backing for Garnacho. Chelsea do have some interest in Alejandro Garnacho people. So look, Garnacho is one that a lot of us are a bit fed up of. A lot of us want some advancements on because Garnacho's exit at the end of the day is probably the most important exit for Manchester United when it comes to getting on with transfer business. If we can get rid of Garnacho, there's a lot more and lot better transfer business that we can do because Garnacho could potentially be bringing in up to 60 million in pure profit. So obviously Garnacho's sale is very important. Now, we've not heard loads on Garnacho's sale so far in the window. We've heard little bits and pieces, little bits of news about, okay, this club's interested in Garnacho, that club's interested in Garnacho. But I'd say over the last week or two, a lot of Man United fans online have been having a little bit of a small meltdown in regards to Garnacho because they're saying, oh my God, no one's in for Garnacho, he's fallen out of Amorim, it's so public, we're not going to sell Garnacho. And a lot of people have been panicking about selling Garnacho and what we're going to do because obviously selling Garnacho is incredibly important for Manchester United this summer. Incredibly important. So a couple people are worrying. A couple people have been on edge in regards to Alejandro Garnacho and his future. But I'd say, look, don't worry. I said nothing was ever going to happen for Garnacho in June. PSR deadline is today. Tomorrow it will move for Garnacho. Nothing was ever going to happen in June for Garnacho. It's all going to heat up tomorrow. The PSR deadline is today. Watch Garnacho exit news heat up tomorrow. Watch Villa show interest tomorrow. Watch Chelsea show interest tomorrow. And I think when one club makes the move for Garnacho, I think three or four will. Because when you see Gittins going for 55 million, João Pedro going for nearly 60 million, West Ham wants 60 million for Kudus, who was appalling last season, you know that we can easily get 50 to 60 million for Garnacho by looking at the price on the market. 50 million bids being rejected for Alanga, 70 million for Semenyo, you know. Obviously, the public fallout between Amrin and Garnacho means we're not going to be able to get as much money for Garnacho as we would have maybe normally because everybody knows that we're desperate to sell him and it weakens our position. But everyone's been worried about Garnacho. Once if we can't offload Garnacho, we can't do anything until Garnacho's gone. We need people to go in for Garnacho. Villa are interested in Garnacho. Chelsea interested in Garnacho. Tier 1 source in Laurie Whitwell has confirmed Chelsea are interested in Garnacho. Signing Gittins hasn't changed that. There will be movement in regards to Garnacho and his future. There will be a big amount of movement, I think, in the next week, in the next few days. I think there could be bids coming in. I think there could be movement. I think Garnacho will finally be on the move. And I think knowing that Chelsea are in touch with him, despite signing Gittins, Chelsea is still in touch with United to sign Garnacho and Chelsea's interest. And what Chelsea spent on Gittins and João Pedro, I'm confident United will sell Garnacho and we will get a good price. Could it involve Villa buying Garnacho and us buying Watkins, and it's some kind of unofficial swap deal to get around FFP rather than directly swapping them? We buy Watkins for 40 million, they buy Villa for 60 million. Maybe it's a way to get around FFP. Maybe United will do something like that. Or could it be Chelsea putting in a 55 million bid? Garnacho decides he wants Chelsea to the Champions League and we let him go to Chelsea. I'm not sure, but Garnacho really suits Enzo Maresca. I think Garnacho would be a better signing for Chelsea than he gets credit for, and I can see why Chelsea are interested in Garnacho. The big problem with Garnacho is the attitude. The problem with Garnacho is the attitude, the public fallout, that's going to put people off. But we're in a position right now where we know that Rashford is now coming back, and we've got to hope that Barcelona buy him, or we may be stuck with Rashford. We have interest in Watkins, and Villa have interest in Garnacho, so maybe something could happen there. But Chelsea, confirmed by a top source, are showing interest in Garnacho. And I do think Garnacho will finally be on the move soon. I've never said anything like with fear in regards to Garnacho because a lot of Man United fans have been getting worried. A lot of Man United fans have been getting upset the last few days because we're literally in like we were literally end of June and there's like no interest in Garnacho. A lot of people have been sitting there panicking, worrying, oh, will we find any suits for Garnacho? A lot of Manchester United fans have been worried about the lack of interest in Garnacho. Because nothing's happened. But it's not that there's a lack of interest in Garnacho, it's that every team was always going to wait till July to make a move for Garnacho. And now at the PSR deadline, teams are making the move for Garnacho. There's a lot of interest in Garnacho. There's confidence inside Manchester United that they will be able to sell Garnacho. Do you know what I mean? Things will now move. I'm not worried about Garnacho. I think we will sell Garnacho. When I look at the value of the market, I think Garnacho will go. I'm worried about Rashford. I'm worried about Rashford. I like Rashford. I'd happily have Rashford back at Man United next season, but I won't happily have him back at Man United next season because he's falling out of Amrin. Amrin doesn't want him, and it'll be a disgrace to Amrin if Rashford comes back. Garnacho, I'm confident will go. Anthony, I'm confident will go. Sancho's the problem because we've got the offers for Sancho, but he won't take a wage cut. I think he wants to run down his deal. Marcus Rashford depends on Barcelona, who are known for having no money and difficult to deal with. I'm worried about Sancho and I'm worried about Rashford. Even though it was said that Sancho was really close to leaving, other sources saying he's not. I'm worried about Sancho and I'm worried about Rashford. I'm worried about how we're going to be able to offload them. I'm not too worried about the other players. I feel like Garnacho, we will find a suitor. He's on low wages. He wants to go. I think teams will pay up. I'm not worried about Anthony. I think Betis will find a way to pay up. It's just an annoying deal that they're dragging on. I feel like Rashford's going to go on loan to Barcelona, which isn't what we want. We want a permanent deal for Rashford because if we get a loan for Rashford, we can't really afford to bring in a replacement or anything like that. We need a permanent deal for Rashford. And that's my big fear. My big fear is not being able to find a permanent deal for Marcus Rashford, which is a strong possibility. In regards to news, yes, we do have interest in Ollie Watkins, but it would depend on a Højlund exit. Romano has confirmed that Inter are still interested in Rasmus Højlund. They still like Rasmus Højlund, but Inter would like to do a loan with an option to buy. Manchester United have made it clear to Inter they will not do a loan, it's permanent or no deal at all. United have made it clear they want a permanent deal for Højlund to go, and I think Watkins will massively depend on what happens with Højlund, and right now, it doesn't look like Højlund's going anywhere. It doesn't look like Højlund's going anywhere. To be honest. In regards to Watkins, if we do sell Højlund, I think Watkins is someone we can definitely move for. It definitely could be one to watch in regards to just taking into account the fact that hopefully we will sign a striker even if Højlund stays. Who knows? Other players are leaving will give us funds. And Marcus Rashford, I don't think he'll play for Manchester United again, but there's a part of me that thinks Marcus Rashford will be in and around the squad next season if we can't find a place for him. Is there an echo? Is there an echo, guys? I do apologise if there's a slight echo. I don't know. I'm worried about Rashford. I think we just let him go to Barcelona on loan because we're so desperate to get rid of Rashford that I just think we're just going to let him go to Barcelona on loan. But I'm worried. I don't trust Barcelona. I don't trust them one bit. I really don't. So I have a little worry in regards to Rashford and his future. Sancho, I'm more worried about in the sense of I just don't think I think Sancho wants the money. He's going to run down his contract, but we've got interest in Sancho. I think Anthony will go, and I think Garnacho will go. Anthony and Garnacho have got enough interest in them to, I think, in my opinion, probably end up going. Listen, people, I'm going to wrap up my stream now. I want you guys to go over and raid Cass. I want you to go over and raid Cass. What we're going to do is we're going to redirect you over to Cass's channel. So if you can go over and raid Cass, that would be amazing, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.